Neurodivergent. What does that word mean? Well, according to Oxford Language, it's a differing in mental or neurological function from what is considered typical or normal. But let's look closer. To begin, let's take a look at this survey entitled Stories and Experiences with Neurodiversity, where we asked people to share their neurodiversities with us, along with information in regards to their daily lives and other key factors regarding it. The first question we asked was, are you neurodivergent? To which 76.2% responded yes, having been diagnosed, while 14.3% have their suspicions but are not professionally diagnosed. And 9.5% say that they have some form of neurodivergence without a doubt, but are also not professionally diagnosed. Next, we asked which neurodiversities the respondents had, and the chart here shows which ones people chose, with 52.4% having ADHD. However, people also noted that along with one of these neurodiversities, they also had anxiety, depression, and PTSD. And then we asked people whether or not they have ever been misdiagnosed, with 77% of people saying yes, 15% saying no, and 8% saying they have never been diagnosed. But enough of the statistics. Let's see what they had to say. Have you ever been misdiagnosed?
No, thank God. I'm lucky to have parents that believe in mental disorders and seek out the best help that they can get for me. When we first noticed that I was having nausea and stomach aches every morning before school,
I was originally diagnosed with
doctors
anxiety
did a
when I
scope
got
of my
tested for
intestines and
ADHD.
stuff to see if I had any
Therapy and
abdominal
graduate therapy, we
abnormalities.
referred
Yes,
to
And
get
they found
reevaluated.
nothing.
dyslexia
That's
and
when we
depression,
concluded that
which is
it was
actually
just that much,
ADHD
not
and
the stomach.
BPD.
Has your disorder had a negative effect on people around you?
Yes, it has affected my relationships with my family.
My family
and I am
often
the
gets
black sheep.
frustrated with my need
I
to
gave my
have things
sister PTSD
organized.
allegedly with
I once saw
episodes
my
in
mom
childhood,
hang up her
and my
shirt
mom and I don't
inside
get
out,
along well
and I
because
had
of
to
my disorder.
reorganize her whole
It affects my
closet
ability to
because I
maintain
could not
friendships
sit
that
in
aren't
it.
at
Ask
peace,
me
no
to
matter how
help
My
much
pick out
father
like
I
a
also
person
has
for the day
OCD,
based
I
on
would
what
never have a
habits
diagnosed with
stable
or none
romantic
of it.
relationship,
And
make
but
sure
I'm
their
because he
entire
always,
teaches me,
always in
because
including
he
the
wants
color
me
of
to
the
I
grow
define
out of his
myself by the
flaws,
ones
Also,
I'm
and
my
it
parents think
does
I'm weird
not
for
work as
sensing
simply for
colors
me
when I smell
as
scent,
he
so
wants
I
it
don't
to.
really talk about
Subject
it much with
hide.
them.
Has your disorder had a negative effect on your daily life?
Every day is a struggle. Socially,
I take
educationally,
longer to
physically,
perform
and
simple
emotionally.
tasks like
I'm
washing my
incredibly
hands
lonely,
because
and
I
find
feel a
it really
strong
hard to connect with
sensation that I
people.
have to wash them
Yes,
I'm
again,
extremely
my
passionate
or in
bipolar
a different
disorder, I
way.
have
people
at
that
I have
times
small
scared people
repetitions
into
like
thinking
that
I
with
was
other
delusional.
daily tasks as
I feel
well.
insecure
I
and
It
have
judged
no
reduces a
and
lot of
control
shared
over how
anxiety
I
in me
express
if I
my emotions.
stray
There's a
from
lot
my
of self-blame
daily
that
It's just a
routine.
switch.
Things
That's why
like
my
eating
actions
at a
and
different
attitude
time,
with
laughing and
friends
sitting in
joking.
a different
tends to
Then
seat,
let me
with the
down.
or
flip of
using
the
a different
switch,
It often
bathroom
feels like I'm
yelling
completely
and
performing
cussing
ruin
and
my
almost
mood
throwing
and
and
more
hitting
stress
other
me out.
people and
than they are.
things.
Does your disorder affect your learning experience?
In every way, yes. The stresses that school systems put on my mind are number one source of my anxiety. Not only in the academic aspect, but the social aspect too. My ADHD and dyslexia make
My learning
assigned readings
experiences through public
practically
school
I'm
is
so
the
impossible.
best.
particular about my notes.
I can
Unfortunately,
I will
read through a
often miss
sentence
important
5 times
information because I
over
took too
and
long writing
still
out
won't
my notes
comprehend a
neatly and
single word of
reorganizing
it.
them. If
My
something in the
memory is
class was
pretty
bothering
bad
me,
too,
like the
unless
teacher
it's
dropped the
something I'm
marker and didn't
genuinely
pick it up,
interested in.
I will
My
be
brain
unable
won't
to focus because I'll
retain
be too
any
concerned with
information
what is
whatsoever.
distracting me.
These are their stories.
Growing up in school, I was
Fixations
not
suck
diagnosed,
sometimes.
and teachers
Mine
often
generally
thought I was
involve animals,
hyper,
and growing up
too
I would always
talkative,
get
and a
super
problem
focused on a
child.
new animal and
However,
research it for
I was very
hours
smart,
and
so these
convince my mom that
symptoms
I
seemed
should be
like a
able to get
personality
one.
problem,
Then,
or a
a
problem
month
that
later,
stemmed from
poof,
home.
fixation gone.
I believe that
Usually my
symptoms have to
naturally
be more
comfortable
observant.
figure.
I was told by a
Social
professor
social
that
high
I
school
was
about
discovering
jealousy.
jealousy.
These are the things that have been said.
My current landlord insinuated that my mother is the reason I'm still so anxious. Like the nature versus nurture argument. He seems to think that my mom protected me or spoke for me too much or whatever. What I didn't tell him is that I've been like this since preschool. I was born a nervous wreck
That
who
I
preferred
am
staying inside to
crazy,
play the
evil,
Wii
and cannot
over
be
going to
helped.
some stupid
A friend used
sports
to
meet.
call me Hyde
The
and
only
told
thing my
me
mother
I
did
need
was
them all to
listen to
help
me and
themselves.
help me through it and
Another
make
friend
me feel
told me
safe
I am
and
truly a
supported.
bad person.
If my
And
landlord
why
met
do
me
I make the
5+
world
years ago,
want to hate
he'd
itself?
see how much I've
My
progressed.
mum calls it a sickness.
Your life is a
slowing
roller
climb, but it's
coaster,
there,
but
but
and I
please
am
don't
getting
let
there.
go.
And so much more.
Medicine never helps. This isn't normal.
Well, you don't look autistic. I get this all the time, and it angers me so much.
Just be brave. Go to more parties. Man up.
Negatively stuck with me, but just cheer up.
Get to the point. Or, why can't you just pay attention to me? Those are easier said than done.
My mum, constantly telling my dad and family that ADD and ADHD isn't real, and that we just need to focus and get shit done.
Autism, ADHD, post-traumatic stress disorder, and bipolar disorder can have overlapping symptoms. So what if my diagnosis isn't even right?
And, in addition, out of the 21 people who responded to the survey, all 21 stated they either had depression, anxiety, or both as part of their neurodivergence. Finally, here are the stories from people that are sitting with you now.
So, all my life, I've had ADHD, and my mother actually has ADHD as well. In terms of all of my diagnoses, on paper I have major depression, and ADHD, and I think generalized anxiety disorder.
Hello, my name is Harry Sandbrook and I have dyspraxia. Dyspraxia is something that affects your fine motor and coordination skills, so this applies to a whole lot of things that people have to learn in their lives.
Hi, I'm Kay, and I don't know what I have.
I have taken medication consistently for it for 5 years, but I have been on and off ADHD medication since I was a child.
My parents have always known that I've had something, but they wanted me to grow up normal. They knew something was up several years ago when I took several years to learn how to read a clock or tie my shoes, little things like that.
I was officially diagnosed when I was around 12 or 13, I believe, and I vaguely remember this. I was sitting at a desk, there's a woman across from me, and I had to take a little test, like a PSAT, I guess, and I had to fill in the bubbles. And that was the day I believe I got diagnosed with dyspraxia. However, I did not find out about my dyspraxia until I was 18 when I was on a car ride with my dad.
I've always had issues with object permanence and time blindness, and I stim when I'm overly happy or excited. Hyperfixations have gone over the years, thousands of them.
I, throughout my life, have dealt with hyperfixation issues. As a child, even before I was diagnosed, I apparently wouldn't listen to my parents, or I would just get very absorbed into things and fade them out. And I still do that, even on medication. When I focus on something that actually interests me, nothing else exists.
And once he told me about it, my mind just kind of went back a long way through my whole life, and a lot of stuff came together that never really made sense to me, or stuff that I just didn't really think about. And for me personally, it affected 3 areas: sports, school, and social situations.
My 504 paperwork was not pulled with us through college. Through high school, actually. My 504 paperwork did not follow me after middle school into college, so I did not test with extended time. I'm sure that it would have helped me a lot, and I would have scored much higher on my ACT, but I still functioned well enough.
And all of these have put me at a disadvantage, whether it's not being able to know how much time I have left on a test in school, or, the amount of real estate that hyperfixations take from my brain that could be going to lots of other things.
Whenever we took one of the really big tests, such as the PSAT or any sort of big name tests like that at school, I was always put in a room with people, and I never really second guessed it because it was a very big test and we had a lot of kids. So they had to separate all the students into various different classrooms, so that way, you know, they can be grouped together. However, I then learned that my room was for people who got extra time on their tests. So, and that applied to my dyspraxia because I had very big trouble with maintaining new skills and learning new skills and ideas and then applying them later down the line.
As a sophomore in college, I can seek a diagnosis myself, but I won't until I can overcome the stigma that I grew up with.
I've noticed that Gen Z in particular has these issues on a kind of a higher level now that I've gone to college, but it's also an art school, so weird sample there.
I've managed to find a way that I don't let my dyspraxia define me. I define who I am by the things I love, the things I love to collect, and I just live my day, one life, one day, one footprint at a time.
Raise awareness to neurodivergency.
And thank you to everyone who took our survey, and thank you so much for sticking around and watching this video. It's greatly appreciated. And yeah.